Jorge, thanks for your time, man. How you feeling?
Always, brother. How you been, man?
Yeah, same old, same old. You know what I mean? Trying to not get fat as I'm getting older.
That's my problem,
Oh,
man. Every day you gotta fight the food cravings and shit.
tell me about it. You're 38 now, Jorge. How's the body feeling?
Um, one thing is if I don't get sleep, like I never slept most of my career, like 4 to 5 hours on a constant, and I was like, wow, that's a good night's sleep. Nowadays, if I don't get like 7.5 hours, I'm not good, man. So that's one thing I've definitely noticed at 38 that I didn't. Even at 34, I was still pulling like wild shit, and on the regular, I just sleep like 4 or 5 hours and be perfect. Now I need my sleep. If I don't get a sleep, it's not gonna be a good session. It's not gonna be anything good out of me.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know the feeling. Well, as you get older, I'm in bed by 9 o'clock these days. I'm an old bastard. I saw you rolling around Miami on the embedded. Seeing all the locals buying a little bit of street food and whatnot. It must feel good. You know what I mean? To be fighting in the hometown.
So good. It's crazy. I was here at the first UFC show in Miami 20 years ago, and I was just a young amateur at the time, and I was looking at all these guys that I had already like grown up watching and studying. I was like, wow, and that nostalgia of being at my first UFC show. Then after that pass, I looked on over to my boy and I was like, man, I'm gonna bring this show here one day. So that one day came 20 years later, but we're here. And a month after the show came here, I went pro right after. So in a way, I've been getting ready for this particular fight for like 20 years. So it's a lot of things like coming full circle, and it's just crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, 20 years in combat sports professionally, 10 years in the UFC, and now here you are, co-main event of a massive pay-per-view. Before we get into the fight, I was talking to Colby Covington recently. He said that he's the king of Miami. What do you say to that?
Don't nobody believe his ass. I mean, that dude, one, he doesn't live in Miami. Two, he's never been out in Miami. And if he has, how come he never posts these videos up if he be out in Miami? Everybody sees me everywhere in Miami. How come nobody sees this dude? How about even a random pic with somebody in Miami? You never see that. So, like everything, he says all types of crazy shit. He used to tell me with a straight face, I could take John Jones down. Like, shut the up, man, because they wrestled together, and not wrestled together, but they were in the same like community college. He would say outlandish shit all the time just to do this, just to get people talking. Like nobody and their mom believes this guy ever, not even his own fucking mom.
Yeah,
if he has
well, obviously, there's been a lot of talk he's going to fight Leon next. What do you make of that? Because
those are just
I think
rumors.
Leon wants to fight you from what I hear. Dana came out and said it's going to be Colby. I'm assuming you go out there and you spark out Gilbert Burns in spectacular fashion. You'll be the front runner?
Brother, those are just rumors, man. Anyways, last I checked, and as well as Dana's all about selling pay-per-views and shit. Kobe's highest grossing pay-per-view is under 300,000. When he fought me is when he broke that, and obviously it wasn't because of him. So he's never himself carried a pay-per-view or grossed anything over 300,000. Now we have Leon, another non-pay-per-view setter. What, the company now is not into making dollars anymore, especially with all the history me and Leon got in the fight that would be, because we're both predominantly stand-up guys. So I think it'll be an amazing fight, and I just got to do my job April 8th. I'm not worried about those rumors about Kobe getting a title shot over me. And anyways, this is the same guy claiming that he has a brain injury due to allegedly me doing something to him, Again, which goes back to how could you be the king of Miami? You're pressing charges on the Miami boy. You know what I'm saying? Talking all this smack, saying you got a brain. But Bisping, as I speak to you right now, I got 3 felonies because of this pussy, So how you the king of shit, bro? You ain't the king of nothing.
No. I hear you, man. Just quickly, on Leon versus Kamaru, what did you make of that? What did you make of the last performance? Here? Yeah.
Boring. It was boring as fuck, Both of them just like, I don't know, fighting to like point fight and shit. I feel bad for my English fans out there that had to fucking withstand that bullshit of a title fight, That's why I got to go over there and give him a real title fight, give him a real fight. The old school, just fucking put the hands up and just let him fly.
Yeah. Well, talking of real fights, you've got one this weekend, Gilbert Burns. I'm sure you've got respect for him. He's one of those guys. It's hard not to have respect for somebody like that. You know what I mean? Carries himself with respect, fights like a motherfucker in the ring. What's the key to victory this weekend?
punch him in the face, and then do it again. And then we'll punch him in the face some more, and then stuff his takedowns. He's saying that he's gonna stand with me. We're both fighters, Bisping. When guys are just talking shit, I think he's gonna come in there throwing hard the first 2 minutes. Then after that, when he sees the distance, the timing, the traps I'm setting up for him, he's gonna start crotch sniffing, and I just gotta stop that, and do what I've been gifted in the area that I've been gifted in, just stand up, just keep it in the stand up department, negate the grappling as much as I can, and fucking put a beating on this dude.
I hate to bring up Colby again, but when you guys fought, I thought you were very honest afterwards. You were like, listen, the guy got me with the wrestling. I got to go away and work on that. In terms of that side of things, takedown defense and the wrestling, where do you think you're at? Have you leveled up? Are you ready to, stop any takedown threats?
Since the Colby fight, not immediately after, but shortly sometime after, I started recruiting like high-level wrestling coaches, high school coaches, all types of individuals to come work with me and just like wrestle, and just like, I don't want to throw a punch, I don't want to throw a fucking knee, I just want to wrestle. But let's take it from like the ground up and see where I have these chinks in the chain, because I'm a game competitor. Every time I'm giving it all I got. So I'm just making mistakes and not being as efficient as I should in certain positions carries on to like later. Now I'm tired when I'm on my feet. Now I give up another takedown. Now I'm in trouble. Now I give up 2 takedowns in a round. So it's like, let me just start at the very bottom. Like if I'm in high school going to compete for a state championship, and man, I feel I've gotten a lot better. But the best thing about fighting is the instant gratification that we get, right? Because if everything that I'm saying has worked, April 8th, it will show. If everything I've done was just fucking Pilates and fucking Hapkido, and you know what I'm saying, it ain't gonna work. So I can't wait for April 8th just to show the world what the craft I've been honing, and just to get here.
Pilates and keto, that sounds like my lifestyle these days.
I fucking love
much
you,
of the
man.
training camp has just been submission defense and getting back to the feet?
Yes, sir. You know the usual, man. You're a striker like me. You gotta get ready for these fucking crotch sniffers to fucking not sniff your crotch,
Yeah. So what's the prediction? First round, I mean, you've had some amazing knockouts throughout the course of your career. 2019, those 2 that you had against Till and then Ben Askren. I mean, are you looking to replicate something like that?
Something different, man, and a little bit more special in its own way. I see tendencies and a lot of registered trademarks that Gil does on the constant, and he breaks the foundation of fighting. He doesn't really like follow that infrastructure of like stand-up fighting. He does a lot of mistakes and constant. He leads with his chin often. So I just gotta show up and do my job, and he's gonna give it to me. I feel I've seen it numerous times. He's not a poised guy, and that's because of his nerves. He's very nervous when he's standing up, so he's throwing these bombs out of place, out of timing, with no real setup, because he's nervous. He just wants the fight not to be on the feet. As hard as he might throw and all that stuff, he feels so uncomfortable on the feet. And this is where I'm most comfortable at. So I just got to let him do the work for me.
So fingers crossed, you go out there, you get a sensational performance, you get the win, you get the title fight. Fingers crossed. If that doesn't happen, if you don't get the win, you said this week that you might retire. That's a lot of pressure you're putting on yourself there, Jorge.
Yes, no, Mike, because I've been at it for 20 years, and it's like, man, I got 4 losses in a row, and I think, honest in my heart, I never would have lost to Gil in my prime, So can I still compete at that level? I think it's a perfect guy to see that, because I've not done well with wrestlers that are wrestlers that have a good pedigree in wrestling. They have, a lot of hundreds of matches in that division. They're able to put me in those spots consistently, and I haven't done that well. But against a jiu-jitsu guy like Gilbert, I always feel like I've always matched up well with those guys, and I feel that I could walk away with my hand raised 10 years ago, today, 10 years from now, against that stylistic matchup. There's no diss on Gilbert. I just think his style's very favorable for me. So if it doesn't go my way, man, at the end of the day, when am I going to call it quits? I know I don't act like I'm 38, but I am 38, and I've been doing it since I'm 18. So it's not something that I'm trying to think about, but there's a big chance I could call it quits if things don't go my way that night,
I mean, what have you got, like 50 professional fights, something like that?
Yeah, 50-something professional fights.
Yeah. I mean, that is a lot of fights, regardless, whichever way you slice it. It's a lot of wear and tear on the body. How is it feeling, compared to, say, 10 years ago? Is it harder?
Like we mentioned earlier, if I don't get my sleep, I'm beat up. But I still like recover so damn quick. It's crazy, man. I feel like I'm Wolverine a lot of times because I'll go to sleep all beat up, tired, neck, stinger, hip is out of freaking whack, the back is tight, and then I wake up and I'm just like, all right, let's go. So I know I could still do this. And at the gym that I'm at, American Top Team, which I feel is the best gym in the world, I'm contending with the world's best guys constantly. And I'm doing good, man. This is what keeps my spirits high. I don't go based off how good I did in the Pilates or the yoga. I go based off how good did I do in American Top Team. Am I going with these guys? And then my coaches talk to me, and I always tell them, just be as objective as you can and don't be biased. Just tell me the truth. What do you guys see? And the feedback is always amazing. Like, man, you're going. Maybe like 10 weeks ago I wasn't at this shape now, but for the last like 6 weeks, I'm flying, man.
I mean, it's weird, isn't it? Because people always think as you're getting older, you're going to slow down. But even towards the end, I never felt like I slowed down. Yeah, I had some injuries, which, took its toll. But physically, I felt good. But mentally, you're better than ever. I mean, you're a natural fighter. Everybody knows that, But in terms of handling the emotion, it is an emotional roller coaster fighting. And the better you handle those emotions, the better you're going to perform. But you don't strike me as someone that's ever really struggled with that.
No. In the fighting has always come to me very natural. So I don't like throw up before fights or like get nervous like that. It's just like I'm anxious to get out there, but I'm not like nervous per se, like where I have anxiety and stuff like that. So I don't have to contend with a lot of those nerves. Just got to be myself. Just go out there. And I've always felt like a big part of it is because I could see the blows in like slow motion. I feel comfortable. I feel when I'm hitting people that I'm safe. So not always the same thing for like if I'm fighting like a wrestler just wants to wrestle and put me on my back and do absolutely nothing but just hug me. Then I'll start thinking more like, man, the time gets eaten up. I was on my back for 2 minutes. I won 3 minutes of the stand up, but where's it going? Like those fights get a little bit more complicated. But this one here, I feel very confident about.
Yeah, and rightly so. I was watching Game Bet 4 last weekend, bought the pay-per-view. Man, what a great event. It was sensational. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Some great fights in there, some big names. Of course, Roy Jones Jr. I mean, come on. Doesn't get much better than that. From a promoter's perspective, how was that? Successful?
Nuts. Roller coasters, very similar to fighting. Not like fighting, but very similar. The ups, the downs of this guy pulled out, this guy didn't make weight, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So being a promoter, it's hectic in itself, but I love it, man. It's what I'm gonna do when I hang up the gloves. It's just what I stick to doing is just putting on the biggest events, getting these guys as much money as possible to put on these fights, And from top to bottom, I had something to do with every matchup there, Me and my team went out there and strategically chose every match that we thought would get us the best return, that people would want to see and just be action packed. So it's something that I love the process of doing. So I'll be doing this for the rest of my life. It's just from the matchmaking to promoting. I love it, man. So you'll be seeing me in that space for a long, long time.
Nice. Looking forward to it. As I say, it was a smooth production. A lot of people might think though, why boxing and not mixed martial arts?
Well, I have a MMA promotion as well. A bare knuckle one and a no.
Oh shit, that's right.
Right, man. One with gloves, one with no gloves. I love it, man. It's just fighting at the end of the day, just combat, and
yeah.
I don't, there's like, I think you're a great interviewer. You're great at what you do, but I don't think I'd be that good at constantly like doing it like that. I wouldn't be. So I think I could, pick fights and things like that. And just like, man, what would it take for me to spend my $49.95? Okay, let me think of a card. Like, this is what I'm good at, and that's where my natural ability lies. So I'm going to continue to pursue that,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Did I hear that you've got a nightclub in Miami as well?
No, I don't know. No, nightclubs. There's a lot of promoters that wish I did, but I don't know.
Somebody said you owned a nightclub. I'm like, holy shit, things are going well for Jorge. Not bad at all. All right, we'll disregard that one then. Pretend they never said anything. So Saturday night, you go out there. The crowd's going to be phenomenal. Let's be honest. I mean, you got to be looking forward to it.
They're going to be shooting up the place, man. It's going to look like 4th of July when I'm walking out of there.
All right, so fingers crossed you get the job done. Title fight. When's that? July 22nd in London? Because that's what's being reported.
I would love it. I've been campaigning that I'm dying to go back to London since I fought Till over there. I mean, though I was fighting their home guy over there, English fans are so knowledgeable. They've been watching, digesting the sport for years, man. Like if USA was number one, England was right there number two since the start of it. So it's like the fans know everything over there. They're fucking with you, you know. It's fun, man. They're heckling me, and it was just a good old time. So I can't wait to go back to England and compete again. And what better time than I feel like England gave me the rebirth to my career, the resurrection when I fought Till over there.
Yeah,
winning a title over there would mean everything, bro.
Did you see that Darren just recently stepped away from the UFC and he's going to be focusing on some boxing? You got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, we reached out to Darren, actually. I hope, I don't know who's his next immediate matchup is, but we would definitely love to book Darren in some boxing, man, because I know he's a hell of a competitor myself, you know, firsthand experience. So I would love to 100% get Darren to work with us in some way, capacity.
100%. All right, and I guess we'll end on this. 20 years in the game, 10 years in the UFC, fought all over the world, some spectacular wins, but you learn a lot along the way. What's the biggest thing you've learned about this entire game, given that you've been involved in this for 20 years? You know what I mean? What's one little nugget of wisdom you could give to some aspiring young man that wants to get involved in this game right now? What would you say? And I know that's putting you on the spot, Jorge.
I would say, you know, and to a sense, I mean in the literal form, but you do need a phone. But I would say like this, because these are these distractions right here. You got to go like that. Like you better than anybody knows, like you can't really have any other life but the fight life, and live at the gym and work at the gym and learn the craft day and night and day if you want to fight. And what I've learned is, you know, on my way up, I would live at the gym because I would take a fight in 2 weeks notice, 3 weeks notice for those 10 years that I was outside of the UFC. So the better shape that I stayed in year round meant that I'd have better success for whenever that short notice fight came up, you know. But at the same time, since I didn't have a guaranteed paycheck, I was out there chasing the money. I had to hustle. I had to do many things to be able to afford the next meal, you know. So faith in God, faith in yourself, and persevere. You got to grind. This sport is for the grinders, man. If you can't, you know, from morning to night, being submerged in this craft, I don't care how athletically gifted you are. Somebody will meet that athleticism and with their work ethic beat you if you're not putting in that work ethic.
Yeah, beautiful words. Beautiful words. Well, thank you on that. Gilbert Burns, all good? No beef? No stress this week?
No, I got nothing but respect for that dude. And whatever he says about me, I respect him. I've met him a couple times before. I think he's a great professional. He's a great fighter. But like I've said, I'm going to show the world we're not in the same world, you know. There's only one way to do that, right? By executing him in front of the world.
All right. Well, good luck. Good luck. Sincerely. All the best. Enjoy the weekend, man. Looking forward to watching it. And thanks for your time, Jorge.
God bless, Mike. See you soon, brother.
You're the man. Take care, brother. All the best.
You too, brother. Well, I'm going to send you. You send me an address so I can send you some of it.
Oh, shit. Oh, yeah, bro. Give me some of that. How's that going, by the way?
I'm going to leave it with the UFC crew so they send it out to you.
Let's fucking go. All right, Jorge. Take care, man.